Hi everyone, this is Pastor Jason. I'm sure all of you have noticed lately that gas prices are at an all-time high, the stock market is tanking, there's a shortage of necessities, and there are even predictions that we're entering into a recession. And on top of all that, inflation's at a 40-year high, and it's expected only to go higher. In fact, just the other day, United States Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says she expects current inflation rates are not transitory and will continue to persist, which means things are only going to get worse before it gets better. So today, I wanted to give you 3 biblical principles to help you get through this tough economic downturn that we're all currently in. The first biblical principle that I want to share with you today is do not worry. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 25 to 26, Jesus teaches his followers to not worry because all of their needs will be provided for by their Heavenly Father. So I want to encourage you that today, if you are a follower of Jesus Christ, you don't need to worry because all of your needs will also be provided for by your Heavenly Father. But I want to clarify that there are differences between your needs and your wants. God will always provide for your needs, but He may not always provide for your wants. And only He knows what your true needs are. I also want to point out that Jesus says, do not worry, which is different from do not be concerned. While you shouldn't worry, you should be concerned and you should plan accordingly. Worrying is when you're focusing more on your problems rather than focusing on God. And as a result, all your problems feel much bigger than they actually are. On the other hand, being concerned is when you're focusing more on God rather than focusing on your problems. And as a result, none of your problems are ever as big as you think they are. So I want to remind you today to focus your attention on God. Do not worry, and that He will provide for all of your needs. Now, moving on to the second and third biblical principles, which comes from the example and story of Joseph. In that story, God gives Joseph a dream that there will be 7 years of surplus followed by 7 years of famine. Joseph then uses the 7 years of surplus to plan for the 7 years of famine by storing away the extra food during the 7 years of surplus. Which leads me to the second biblical principle that I want to share with you today, which is plan for the future. If you didn't know, the economy comes in repeating life cycles, similar to a sea wave, and there are ebbs and flows to it, where there are seasons of surplus followed by seasons of famine. So now that you know this, remember to use your assets during the seasons of surplus to plan accordingly for the seasons of famine that will eventually come afterwards. And on the flip side, one of the worst things to do is to do nothing with your assets and to spend it all living a life of extreme luxury that you can't really afford, to impress the friends that you don't even really like, and to keep up with the neighbors that you don't even really know. And while enjoying your life and living well are not bad things, please just remember to do it in a responsible manner where you still have enough assets to get you through the tough economic times that eventually come in the economic life cycle. Now, going back to the story of Joseph. Because he has stored away the extra food during the 7 years of surplus, afterwards, in the following 7 years of famine, people from all over the world come to him for food, including his own family that sold him away to slavery. Which leads me to the third biblical principle that I want to share with you today, which is help people. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 33, when addressing the needs of people, Jesus says to seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you. And part of His kingdom and His righteousness is to help people. So when you help people in meeting their needs, God will also help you in meeting your needs. For example, my church has a nonprofit foundation that includes a food pantry, which continues to give out food during the pandemic. In fact, the pandemic caused our foundation to grow exponentially, and it's now the largest food pantry in the whole city, and also one of the largest food pantries in Silicon Valley. And although our church has placed more financial and human resources in our food pantry than ever before to serve a community group outside our own church that will never pay us back, our church continues to do very well throughout the pandemic. From this example, we can learn that even in the tough economic times, when you help people meet their needs, God will help you to meet your needs too. To recap, the 3 biblical principles are: do not worry, plan for the future, and to help people. I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment below. And I'll see you all soon in the next video. God bless and peace.